How many times has a single, uncontrolled moment of anger cost you something precious? Perhaps a strained relationship, a lost opportunity, or even just a day or week clouded by regret. We often hear statistics about how stress and anger impact our health and relationships, and those numbers can be quite sobering. But what about the personal cost? That erosion of your inner peace, the damage to bonds you have carefully built that is often immeasurable, is it not? What if there was a way, an ancient path that I could share with you to reclaim your calm, not just once in a while, but consistently, even when life continues to present provocations? Are you tired of that fiery surge, that sudden hijacking of your peace, that feeling of being a puppet to your own emotional triggers? You are not alone. It is a common battle. Many of us feel that anger is simply an inevitable, uncontrollable reflex. But what if that is not the entire story? As a Shaolin monk, drawing from centuries of wisdom, I offer a different perspective, a timeless understanding that can expose the very roots of these triggers and hand you back the reins to your inner harmony. This is not about suppressing your anger, but about completely transforming your relationship with it. Let us be honest, uncontrolled anger is a destructive force. I have often said anger is a powerful force. Handle it wisely to protect what truly matters. When it is unchecked, this fire can consume years of emotional investment in your relationships, your career, and your personal peace, sometimes in one single, regrettable outburst. Think about the times anger has led to harsh words you wish you could retract, or decisions made in the heat of the moment that you later regretted, or even just the slow corrosive effect it has on your mental and physical well-being. It strains friendships, creates tension in families, and can turn your workplace into a challenging environment. And it is not always about the big explosions, is it? It is also that constant simmer of irritation, the frustration that steals your joy, the resentment that builds walls. This kind of emotional turmoil does not just feel bad, it can have long-term consequences for your health, leading to conditions like high blood pressure and a weaker immune system. What is more, anger often is not even the primary emotion. It frequently acts as a mask for deeper feelings, like hurt, fear, insecurity, or shame. By reacting with anger, we often sidestep confronting these more vulnerable underlying states, which prevents any real resolution and healing. So, the cycle continues, leaving you feeling increasingly powerless and out of control. How many chances for connection, for understanding, for simple peace have been lost because anger took command? This constant battle is exhausting, and it keeps you from living the calm, centered life you truly deserve. But I am here to tell you, there is an alternative. Our ancient Shaolin teachings offer a profound and practical path to managing this powerful emotion. It is not about becoming emotionless or suppressing what you feel. Not at all. Instead, it is about understanding the nature of anger, its triggers, and developing the inner discipline and awareness to respond with wisdom rather than react with raw emotion. We, in the Shaolin tradition, do not try to eliminate anger, but to understand its message and harness its energy constructively. This ancient fix is not a quick trick, it is a transformative approach to your inner world. It is a way to cultivate a state of peaceful strength that allows you to navigate life's challenges without anger dictating your actions or destroying your peace. It is about reclaiming your inner harmony by understanding how your own mind and emotions work, empowering you to choose your responses in everyday situations. From our Shaolin perspective, anger, like all emotions, is a form of energy. It is not inherently good or bad, it is a signal. I often emphasize that anger is a natural response. Evolutionarily speaking, it is part of our survival mechanism, that fight, flight, or freeze response that prepares the body for action when facing a genuine threat. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your alertness peaks, your body is gearing up, and that is incredibly useful if you are facing real physical danger. The challenge is, in our modern lives, anger often gets triggered, not by life or death situations, but by perceived threats to our ego, our expectations, or our sense of fairness. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A colleague dismisses your idea. you feel misunderstood by a loved one. These are not physical threats, yet the body can react with a similar intensity. Our teachings encourage you to see anger as an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. It is a messenger. When anger arises, it is signaling that something needs attention, perhaps an unmet need, a boundary that has been crossed, or an internal imbalance. The key insight here is that anger is often a secondary emotion, a visible layer on top of something deeper. It can mask pain, fear, insecurity, shame, or frustration. Sometimes it feels more powerful or even safer to show anger than to admit to feeling hurt or vulnerable. The Shaolin approach teaches us to look beneath the surface of the anger, to investigate its true source, rather than just reacting to its fiery display. And while the energy of anger can be intense, our teachings emphasize that emotions are transient, like clouds passing through the sky. They arise, and if we observe them without becoming attached, they will also pass. The problem is not the anger itself, but our identification with it, our tendency to let it define our state of being and dictate our actions. Uncontrolled, it is like that fire that can burn away years of good work, but handled wisely, with awareness and discipline, the energy of anger can even be transformed and channeled constructively. So the goal is not to never feel anger, but to understand it, to not be controlled by it, and to respond to its arising with clarity and wisdom. To truly gain control over anger, our Shaolin wisdom, which often aligns with modern psychological understanding, encourages you to dig deeper and uncover the often hidden roots of your emotional triggers. It is not enough to merely manage the outward signs of anger. We need to understand why it flares up so readily and intensely in certain situations. One significant root is cognitive distortions. These are patterns of negative or extreme thinking that can fuel and intensify anger. Consider things like catastrophizing, imagining the worst-case scenario from a minor issue, all or nothing thinking, seeing things in black and white, mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking, usually negatively, or overgeneralization, taking one bad event as a never-ending pattern of defeat. If you are constantly interpreting ambiguous situations through a negative lens, say assuming a delayed text message means you are being ignored or disrespected, you are essentially setting the stage for anger to flourish. These distorted thoughts often happen automatically and unconsciously, yet they profoundly shape our emotional reality. Another common cause is emotional regulation difficulties. Some of us may never have learned healthy ways to process and express our emotions. If your upbringing taught you that showing vulnerability is weak, or if conflict was always handled with aggression, you might default to anger because it is the only emotional tool you feel comfortable using. Suppressing emotions, avoiding conflict altogether, or projecting your feelings onto others are all unhelpful strategies. They can lead to a buildup of emotional pressure, with anger becoming the explosive release valve. Unresolved trauma or past wounds can also create highly sensitive emotional triggers. Past experiences where you felt betrayed, humiliated, abandoned, or powerless can leave deep emotional scars. When a current situation, even subtly, reminds your brain of that past trauma, it can trigger a disproportionately strong anger response. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, might react as if the past danger is happening right now, flooding you with intense emotion before your rational mind can assess the current reality. These triggers can be very specific, and often we are not consciously aware of the connection to the past event until we begin to investigate. Finally, as we have touched upon, anger frequently serves as a mask for more vulnerable emotions. It can feel safer or more empowering to be angry than to acknowledge feelings of hurt, sadness, fear, shame, or inadequacy. If your self-esteem is threatened, lashing out in anger might be a defense mechanism. If you feel a loss of control, anger can create a temporary, though ultimately false sense of power. Recognizing when anger is acting as a shield for these underlying feelings is crucial. Until these deeper emotions are acknowledged and addressed, anger will keep surfacing. Our path encourages honest self-reflection to uncover these roots. It is about asking, why does this really bother me? And patiently, without judgment, listening for the answers that lie beneath the surface. This deep understanding is the foundation for lasting change. The beauty of our wisdom lies not just in its profound understanding of the mind, but also in its practical, actionable techniques that you can weave into your daily lives. These are not mystical secrets, but rather tried and tested methods for cultivating inner calm and emotional resilience. Let me share with you the first set of these ancient fixes. 1. Pause before acting. The sacred space. This is perhaps the most fundamental and powerful technique. In our monasteries, the teaching is clear. Do not take decisions when you are emotional. I always warn that acting in anger can undo years of effort in a single moment, like burning all the wood you have saved for many winters in just one night. The moment you feel that familiar heat of anger rising, the clenched jaw, the racing heart, the urge to lash out, the first and most crucial step is to pause. This pause creates a sacred space. It is a gap between the trigger and your response. It could be for 10 seconds, a minute, or longer if needed. In this space, you are not suppressing the anger. You are giving yourself a chance not to be immediately consumed by it. You are interrupting that habitual reactive pattern. Think of it as hitting the pause button on an emotional outburst. This simple act prevents impulsive actions and words that you will almost certainly regret. It allows the initial intense surge of emotion to peak and begin to subside, giving your rational mind a chance to come back online. This pause is not about avoiding the issue. It is about approaching it with a clearer head and a calmer heart. It is the gateway to responding consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. 2. Observe and name the emotion. The mindful witness. Once you have created that pause, the next step is to practice mindful awareness, to observe what you are experiencing without judgment. Notice the physical sensations of anger in your body, the tension in your shoulders, the heat in your face, the rapid breathing, the churning in your stomach. Notice the thoughts that are racing through your mind, and simply label the emotion. I am feeling angry, or this is anger. This act of naming, which aligns with our teachings, creates a subtle but significant distance between you, the observer, the conscious self, and the emotion, the temporary experience. You are not anger, you are experiencing anger. It is like stepping back and looking at a storm rather than being caught in the middle of it. This mindful observation reduces the emotion's grip on you. You begin to see it as a transient state, not an all-encompassing identity. This technique helps you to understand that emotions are temporary and do not define you. They are like clouds passing through the sky. You are the sky. This observation allows you to investigate the anger without getting swept away by it. Breathing and grounding. The anchor in the storm. As you observe the anger, consciously engage your breath. This is a cornerstone of our practice and many meditative traditions. When anger arises, our breathing tends to become shallow and rapid, further fueling the body's stress response. By deliberately slowing down your breath, you send a signal to your nervous system that the perceived threat is diminishing, helping to calm that physiological arousal. Practice deep, slow diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand. Hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth or nose. Focus your full attention on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This anchors you in the present moment, preventing your mind from replaying the trigger or jumping to future catastrophic thoughts. Simultaneously, ground yourself. Feel your feet firmly planted on the floor. Notice the points of contact between your body and the chair or the ground. You can also touch a physical object and focus on its texture, its temperature. These grounding techniques help to bring you out of the whirlwind of angry thoughts and back into the reality of the present moment, reducing the feeling of being overwhelmed. Deep breathing and grounding are powerful, immediate tools to regain a sense of calm and control when anger flares. These first 3 techniques work together. The pause creates the space, observation brings awareness, and breathing and grounding bring calm. They are the foundational steps in transforming your relationship with anger. Building on that foundation of pausing, observing, and grounding, our wisdom offers further practical steps to dismantle anger's power and transform its energy. These techniques guide you to look deeper, think differently, and act more constructively. Identify the true trigger, the unseen root. Often, the situation that ignites our anger is merely the spark, not the actual fuel. The fuel often lies deeper in unmet needs, past hurts, insecurities, or challenged values. Once you have created some calm through pausing and breathing, ask yourself with genuine curiosity, what am I really angry about? Is it truly about your partner leaving their socks on the floor again? Or is it about feeling disrespected, unheard, or unappreciated in the relationship? Is it about your boss's critical comment? Or is it stirring up deeper fears of inadequacy or failure? The initial trigger might be minor, but it can tap into a reservoir of unresolved emotions. Journaling can be an incredibly effective tool here. Writing down your angry episodes, the situations that triggered them, and then exploring the underlying feelings and thoughts can help you uncover patterns and identify these deeper, often unconscious triggers. Understanding the true trigger shifts the focus from blaming the external event or person to understanding your internal landscape. This self-inquiry, which is central to our philosophy, is about understanding yourself so deeply that external events lose their power to shake you. Challenge your thoughts. The discerning mind, as we discussed earlier, those cognitive distortions often pour gasoline on the fire of anger. Our discipline involves training the mind, not just the body, and this includes learning to observe and challenge unhelpful thought patterns. When you find yourself in the grip of anger, pay close attention to the thoughts accompanying the emotion. Are they based on facts or on assumptions and interpretations? Are you engaging in black and white thinking? This always happens to me. Are you catastrophizing? This mistake will ruin everything. Are you mind reading? They definitely did that on purpose to annoy me. Once you identify such distorted thoughts, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? What evidence do I have for and against it? Is there another way to look at this situation, a more balanced or compassionate perspective? If a friend were in the situation and had these thoughts, what would I tell them? Will this matter in a day, a week, a year? This helps you focus on what truly matters, a principle I often speak about. This is not about pretending the situation is not frustrating, but about correcting the often exaggerated and overly negative interpretations that fuel excessive anger. By changing how you think about the situation, you can change how you feel about it. This practice helps to develop a more discerning, less reactive mind. Channel the energy constructively. The alchemist's approach. Anger, at its core, is a powerful surge of energy. In its raw, uncontrolled form, this energy is destructive. However, our wisdom teaches that this energy can be transformed and channeled into something positive and constructive. Once you have paused, identified the true trigger, and challenged your initial reactive thoughts, consider how this energy can be used for good. If your anger stems from a perceived injustice, can it motivate you to seek fair solutions, assertively, not aggressively? If it highlights an unmet need, can it give you the impetus to communicate that need clearly and respectfully? If it is a response to a problem, can you use the energy to brainstorm solutions or take proactive steps? Physical activity is also a powerful way to dissipate and transform angry energy. Practices like martial arts, which are central to Shaolin, vigorous exercise, or even a brisk walk can help to release the pent-up physiological tension associated with anger in a healthy way. The aim is not to suppress the energy, but to redirect it from destructive outbursts towards purposeful action or release. This transforms anger from an enemy that controls you into a source of power that you can consciously direct. By diligently practicing these techniques, identifying the real issue, challenging your thoughts, and channeling the energy wisely, you move from being a victim of your anger to becoming a skillful manager of your emotional state. This is a key part of the Shaolin path to self-mastery. This journey to never letting anger control you again, as illuminated by our tradition, is ultimately a path I walk and teach, the path to self-mastery. It is not about achieving a state where you never feel anger, because anger, as we have discussed, is a natural human emotion and a signal. Rather, True mastery lies in the ability to recognize anger when it arises, to understand its message without being overwhelmed by it, and to skillfully manage your response to it. This level of emotional poise is not accidental. It is cultivated through consistent practice and a commitment to certain core principles, discipline and structure. The foundation of freedom, a core tenet of our philosophy, is that true freedom comes from self-discipline and structure, not from acting on every impulse or whim. This might seem counterintuitive in a world that often equates freedom with a lack of restraint. However, without inner discipline, we are essentially slaves to our fleeting emotions, our ingrained habits, and our unexamined reactions. The techniques we have discussed, pausing, observing, breathing, identifying triggers, challenging thoughts, and channeling energy, all require discipline to implement consistently. It is through the daily practice of these mental and emotional disciplines that we build the muscle of self-control and emotional regulation. This structure in our inner lives provides the stability needed to navigate external chaos without losing our center. Balance. Navigating the spectrum of experience. Our teachings emphasize the importance of balance in all aspects of life, including our emotional landscape. This means understanding and learning to navigate both comfort and discomfort, relaxation and stress, joy and sorrow, calm and anger, seeking only pleasant emotions, and trying to avoid or suppress unpleasant ones, creates an internal imbalance and gives more power to the emotions we resist. Self-mastery involves accepting the full spectrum of human experience and learning to maintain your equilibrium regardless of what emotions arise. It is about finding that unmovable, unshakable peace within, even when the surface of life is turbulent. This allows for a more harmonious existence, where you are not constantly thrown off kilter by emotional waves. Peaceful strength. The warrior monk's ideal. As Shaolin, the ideal we strive for is peaceful strength. This is not about being aggressive or intimidating, nor is it about being passive or weak. It is the cultivation of profound inner strength, resilience, and clarity, which then allows for peaceful and composed external action. It means choosing peaceful responses whenever possible, but also having the inner fortitude and discernment to protect yourself and your values when necessary, without resorting to uncontrolled anger. This peaceful strength comes from a deep understanding of oneself and a mastery over one's inner reactions. Regular mindfulness. The constant gardener underpinning all of these principles is the consistent practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just a technique to be used in moments of crisis. It is a way of being, a continuous cultivation of awareness in everyday life. The more aware you are of your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations from moment to moment, the sooner you can recognize the early warning signs of anger or other emotional disturbances. This early detection is key, as it is much easier to manage a spark than a raging fire. Regular mindfulness practices, such as sitting meditation, body scans, or mindful movement like Tai Chi or Qigong, which are integral to our practices, train the mind to be more present, focused, and less reactive. These practices help you develop the capacity to observe your emotions without getting entangled in them, creating that crucial space for conscious choice. Think of mindfulness as the constant gardener of your mind, gently weeding out unhelpful thought patterns and nurturing the seeds of calm, clarity, and compassion. The path to self-mastery is ongoing. It requires patience, perseverance, and a commitment to practice. But with each conscious pause, each mindful breath, each successfully navigated trigger, you strengthen your ability to remain centered and prevent anger from controlling you, leading to a life of greater peace, harmony, and freedom. We have journeyed together through the heart of anger, from its fiery outbursts to its hidden roots, and explored the timeless wisdom of the Shaolin way to not just manage it, but to transform your relationship with it. Remember, as I have shared, anger is a powerful force. The key is to handle it wisely to protect what truly matters: your peace, your relationships, and your well-being. The power to change does not lie in eradicating anger, because it is a human emotion, a signal. Instead, the true power, the ancient fix, lies in cultivating awareness, discipline, and the skillful means to respond to life's challenges with clarity and calm. By consistently practicing the techniques of pausing before acting, observing and naming your emotions, breathing and grounding yourself, identifying the true triggers, challenging distorted thoughts, and channeling anger's energy constructively, you reclaim your inner authority. You move from being a reactor, tossed about by emotional storms, to becoming a conscious responder, anchored in your own peaceful strength. This is not just about avoiding negative experiences. It is about creating a more positive and fulfilling life. When anger no longer controls you, you open up space for deeper connections, improved communication, better decision-making, and a profound sense of inner harmony. The journey to mastering your emotions begins with a single step taken today. I invite you to consider which of the techniques I have shared resonated most with you. What is one small change you can commit to practicing this week? I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What are your biggest challenges with anger, and what insights have you found helpful? Your journey can inspire others. If these teachings have been valuable to you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights into ancient wisdom for modern life. Click the notification bell so you do not miss our next video on cultivating resilience. Remember, the path to inner peace is a practice, not a destination. Handle your anger wisely and reclaim your harmony.